is the national president of Bakers, Food and Allied Workers Union, and this union works in low-pay retail and catering jobs. And materials are available if you haven't already looked at the stores by the entrance. So do have a look and stuff like that. And just to say, this union is similar to the PCS in the sense that it is not afraid to take action or to protect and fight for the rights of its members and workers. And at the moment, there are two struggles taking place in the Bakers Union, and we should send our solidarity to RF Brooks in Newport and Penne Foods in Sheffield, who are taking their 48-hour strike. And Penne Foods is going to take this strike tomorrow. And a very special thanks to Ian, who, came quite early and stayed for the whole conference, and even special thanks because he'll be travelling to Sheffield tonight to take part in the Solidarity Community Rally that is taking place in Sheffield tomorrow at 12. So if anyone here knows or are yourself going to be in Sheffield tomorrow, do come along, take part in this rally and show our solidarity, because these workers need our support and our strength, because we as workers are one and it's the bosses that divides us, so that one thing. And without further ado, I'll call Ian.
Thank you. Hopefully I won't be too loud. I'll try and keep calm. Obviously it's a pleasure to be here, and I thank the organisers for the invitation and the opportunity to take part in Tamil Solidarity. I think it's a great campaign, and our union is proud to support the aims and objectives of the Tamil Solidarity campaign. We're also proud that you'll be coming back for your second year at our conference, and obviously making sure that our members are kept up to date with the issues and obviously the objectives of what you're trying to achieve. And you'll be welcomed with open arms and given an opportunity, of course, to speak to our delegates to make sure they understand the importance of working with the Tamil community and working solidarity. I mean, there's a number of issues that's been raised today in relation to various aspects of our communities and oppression of peoples being oppressed from different parts of the world, but right across the UK from different parts of our community, and right on the doorsteps of our community too. I mean, one of the big issues, and whichever way you voted in the EU referendum, one of the most awful parts of the EU referendum has been the use of what Cameron described as a bunch of migrants in Calais. Those people are not migrants, those people are refugees, and we should tear down those borders and let those people in. They have a right to be here, we should welcome them with open arms. And we call on David Cameron to reconsider his opinion and act like a human being and allow those people to come into our country and do the right thing, as we should do as a civilised country. But also, we say to those people taking part in the EU debate, don't be led to be afraid of what may or may not happen, and don't use migrants as a reason or to justify a reason to stay or to go. Migrants are not the issue. Migrants are not the problem. It's democracy that's the issue, and that's what you should be considering when taking part in the EU debate, not what they're saying to you or the fact that they're using fear and threats to try and make you vote in a certain way. There is only one people in Europe, there is only one people in the world. We're all part of one race, and that's the human race, and we should all stand in solidarity with each other and not allow ourselves to be divided in any way, shape or form. So whatever way you vote in the EU referendum, don't be driven by the arguments that cause division, because that's why we're in the mess that we are currently in. And like I say, we are proud to be here and taking part in this day of solidarity, because it is us coming together that's going to ensure that where our communities have the strength and determination. Because when I came in and I listened to one of the speakers today, he was talking about the issue of fear. And the issue of fear is real. The issue of fear in our communities, the fear and the division that's happened to us, the fact that we've been told that our structures can't support us, we're told that we are on our own, we're individuals, that collectivism is no longer, an opportunity for us to actually unite and come together to fight back. Well, actually, they're wrong. Communities are stronger when we stand together, and we have a duty. We have a duty as people. and we have a duty as community, whichever part of the community we're from, to stand together and unite as one. And that's why, obviously, we would ask and urge you, if you have people that live in the Sheffield area that can come along tomorrow to support our members in strike, then we ask you and urge you to get those people to attend that picket line. We were the first trade union to fight against 0 hours. We were the first trade union to go on strike against the use of 0 hours, because we don't believe in second-class workers, and our members went on strike to make sure there were no second-class workers. And you know what? Because they went on strike and they stood together, they made their community stronger, because they won, and no more 0 hour contracts appeared at that side. And you know, we're the first trade union. We're the first trade union now to take strike action against the gimmick living wage, because that's why we're on strike in both Newport and RF Brooks, because it isn't a living wage at all. It was a gimmick to hide the cuts. It was a gimmick to hide the tax on the income of low-paid workers in this country. And we're taking strike action because what these employers have done is taken an opportunity to reduce the terms and conditions, because they have to implement a living wage, which is actually just an increase in the minimum wage. I mean, we as a trade union, you know, condemn all of those employers, and there's many employers, many rich employers who have decided to take an opportunity to reduce the terms and conditions of their workers. Well, we say it's about time. We saw a couple of weeks ago the example of the French, what happens when their workers are under attack. And it's about time the TUC in this country, the leader of the labour movement, stood up and did the same for us. It's no good sending out petitions, it's no good organising marches. What we need is a TUC that's strong and committed to make sure that it stands up in support of the workers who are suffering massive attacks in this country. And we call on the TUC, and we call on all parts of our community to say it's no longer acceptable for people to be exploited in the way that they're being exploited. It's no longer acceptable for people to be forced endlessly to rely on in-work benefits. People deserve a wage that they can live on, which is why we campaign for a minimum wage of £10 an hour. We say that no single person in this country should be expected to live on a wage which means that they endlessly have to fill in forms to prove the amount of poverty they live in. We've got to say that to our movement, to those in our community, that another life is possible. Why should young people, for example, be excluded from having the same wage as a person who work alongside? Why should they be treated less favourably? We don't accept discrimination in any forms in any other part of society, so why is it acceptable to discriminate against young people? Why should our taxes be used as corporate welfare for profitable employers? Let's use our taxes to pay for the things that we need. Let's make sure that our taxes are used to fund the black holes in the National Health Service, to call an end for the debt that we're putting our young people into through the use of student fees. Let's call it an end to the closure of libraries and Sure Starts. Let's say our taxes should be used to fund the public sector and the public services that we require. And that is achievable if the legislation was brought in that says that people must be paid a wage that they can live on, a real living wage of £10 an hour. And while we're at it, let's call on the government to bring in legislation, because they tell us that it's a necessary form of employment nowadays that people have to be on 0 hours. They tell us that there is no option, it's the way of the world, it's what business needs to thrive. Well, how come in New Zealand they've been able to move legislation to end the use of 0 hours? So let's say to the government, let's say to the people in our community, another world is possible if we stand together and we work together to change it. We have an opportunity, we have the right, and we have the determination. It's our duty to fight, it's our duty to stand together, it's our duty to work with one another and make sure it's our duty to win for each other. Solidarity.
Thank you. The next speaker is, just before I bring the next speaker in, I'm going to say yes, Solidarity is going to be at the Bakers Union next week, and not only they're going to have a team of young people there,